morning, Cowboys. My name is Ava Truitt, and I'll be your host for this morning. Coming up on today's show, we will be talking about a well-known item's name change, a video from BSU, and more. Today is Friday, February 19th, and Canyon News Network starts right now. Welcome back. ASB has partnered with Flower Power Fundraising to promote delivery of bulbs and seeds. Check out their website for their spring catalog. Orders are due by May 1st. We are working with Black Student Union to bring knowledge about Black history every segment until the end of February.
Black hairstyles have more meaning than what meets the eye, and they allow us to be expressive and unique. All of us in the community can embrace and come together through the intricate and beautiful parts of our culture and heritage that derive from Black hair. First, we have box braids, and they get their name from their boxy parting pattern and actually date back to Africa and 3000 BC. Box braids became the most popular in the late 90s when famous R&B artists began to wear them. They have been a staple in Black culture for forever, and you can even add in cool things like colors and jewelry. Typically, they take between 3 to 5 long and sometimes even painful hours to do, but in the end, the product makes it all worth it. Secondly, we have locks, and this style was mostly prevalent in Jamaica, but soon spread to Africa. And some say they are synonymous with religion, wisdom, and power, but they mean something special. They mean something different for each person who wears them, which is what makes them so special. Lastly, we have my personal favorite, cornrows, and their name derives from the resemblance to cornfields. Oftentimes, slaves would braid messages and maps into their braids because they didn't have access to simple things like writing utensils. They have since been reclaimed and are worn by many in the Black community. Some use it for hair growth, and some use it simply for the beauty and simplicity of the style. Overall, these styles play a very important role in Black history and deserve to be discussed and taught not just during Black History Month. Newsom actually just passed the Crown Act this year. This is a law that states that schools K through 12 aren't allowed to have a ban on natural hairstyles, like some of the ones we spoke about earlier in the presentation.
The well-known brand Aunt Jemima has set their mark to change their name as well as their logo due to racial imagery and symbolism. Here's Patrick to explain this reasoning.
Did you ever think you'd find a light syrup that tasted better than a regular?
With Aunt Jemima, now you're cooking.
You may know the commonly known syrup brand Aunt Jemima was developed in 1888 to 1889 by the Pearl Milling Company and advertised as a first ready mix. Just this past month, the Pearl Milling Company announced that it wants to rebrand the original Aunt Jemima name and logo due to its portrayal of racial caricature from slavery in a post-Civil War song titled Old Aunt Jemima, which was performed by people in blackface. Pepsi, who owns the Pearl Milling Company, will replace both the name Aunt Jemima and the logo with the Pearl Milling Company name and brand in June 2021. One full year after the company first announced plans to part ways with Aunt Jemima brand. The logo has been a staple for more than 130 years, but PepsiCo admitted while the Aunt Jemima brand was updated over time in a manner intended to remove racial stereotypes, it was not progressed enough to appropriately reflect the dignity among minorities. Other food brands, such as Uncle Ben's, Cream of Wheat, and Mrs. Butterworth, announced redesigns as a result of the Black Lives Matter protests against systemic racism and police brutality in the U.S. last year. As of right now, the Pearl Milling Company will maintain the red and yellow packaging found on the Aunt Jemima boxes and bottles. PepsiCo says its product will continue to be available under the Aunt Jemima name without the character image until June. Reporting for Canyon News Network, I'm Patrick Hunter. Now back to you.
As we have all recently seen in the news, down south, especially Texas, is having a really hard time when it comes to their climate change and this weather they are not used to. Here's Keisha to share more on this.
Hi everyone, I'm Keisha, and today I will be talking about the current weather situation in Texas. During the past week, Texas and other neighboring states have been experiencing a devastating winter storm. These extreme weather conditions have caused water shortages, bursting pipes, and millions of people to
Emergency
be without
officials
power
now
for days
fielding
on end.
hundreds of calls
The
related
big
to carbon
question
monoxide
as the days
poisoning
pass is
as
how did
people
this
resort to
happen?
desperate
Well,
measures
according
to
to
stay
several
alone
news
and having
sources
its
and
own
energy
power
experts,
grid,
the
allowing it to
widespread and
bypass federal
long-lasting
regulations
power
that
outages
would
have been
require
caused
safeguards for this
partially
exact
because
type
Texas
of
has
cold
its own
weather.
electrical grid, unlike every other state, that are interconnected on shared grids. The energy demand and harsh weather conditions have frozen the utility plants responsible for the state's power. Because the houses in Texas weren't built for this type of weather, homes are being flooded by roofs collapsing and pipes bursting. For more information on the current situation in Texas and possible ways to help, please check our Instagram stories. That's all from me. Back to you, Ava.
As folks in Texas do their best.
If you are a CSF member, you have a meeting today at 1 p.m. If you are unsure if you're still qualified this semester, be sure to check the Google Classroom stream. The link for the meeting will also be there. Finally, next Tuesday at 2 p.m., the Wellness Center will be hosting a meeting to help young teens recognize unhealthy relationships. Well, that's all for today's show. I'm Ava Truitt. Have a great weekend, Cowboys.